Peace, and welcome to another installment of the Grown Man Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Baif Nuruddin, and today I got another homie in the building. First season, I'll be honest, it's been all homies. Reason being, we look into the fray of the world and see all of the fame and the fortune, and we put so much value on that. And the reality is we have so much value in our own circles. We have people who are doing their thing. They're putting positive energy into the world. They're about something. They have the integrity and so forth and so on. And not to mention, we already know them. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my good friend, my brother, somebody who I've spent countless amount of times discussing life, love, career, entrepreneurship, Mars and spaceships and everything in between. So, Mr. Tayshawn Glover, what's goody, my brother?
I'm great, family. What's happening with you?
I can't complain, man. This is a round 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 12, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I'm just I appreciate you pulling up. For real.
My pleasure, fam. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, man, happy to have you. For people who don't know who you are, because I'm sure there's people who know me that know you, and there's people who know me that don't know you. Just give a little introduction of who you are, what you do, where you're from, so forth and so on, or however way you introduce yourself.
Okay.
Please.
I am the son of a Southern mother and a country-ass father.
Okay.
Who was raised in East Orange, New Jersey.
Okay.
I have 6 siblings, 4 sisters, 2 brothers. I am the youngest of the 7 of us. With all that comes with, I am a father of 2 brilliant, beautiful young people. I can't call them babies anymore, but they're fantastic. Shout out to Sabrina and Xavier. And I'm black. I'm so black. I'm black in everything I do. I'm black.
Black, y'all.
Or so-called black.
Yeah. So,
and I make amazing banana bread. Sorry.
This is true. And fried chicken.
And fried chicken. Thank you, fam.
And I have the footage to prove it. The fried chicken, it'll make you smack your moms, your grandmoms. It'll make you bring somebody back to life just to smack them and say, you tasted this chicken? This chicken is amazing. It was really good.
Thank you, fam.
It was really good.
Thank you very much.
The first question I like to ask is a simple one. When you hear the phrase grown man shift, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
First thing that comes to mind is the iterations of manhood, at least that I've experienced. You're told that you're an adult when you're 18.
Yeah.
You don't shift into adulthood at 18, though.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Like, nothing changes about you from 17 to 18.
Not a damn thing.
Just what you have access to and obligation to. But but you shift at various points in your growth and your maturation and and in different experiences. I mean, if you go from a single man to a married man, if you go from a man to a father, if you go from, these things shift. I remember being cognizant when I got married and when I had children that both of those experiences taught me a new thing about me that I hadn't been observing before, just because the context exposed it. You know what I mean? So I used to think I was tough. And then I had children, and then I became tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things like, how you shift through life and through environments and circumstances and relationships and contexts, it kind of happens at various moments. But there's, for me, fortunately, whether it's, ebbs, flow, ups, downs, mountaintops, foothills, valleys, I believe that my life has ultimately shifted upward over time.
Yeah. Nice little acquiesce. Yeah. I feel you. I would say similar. You articulated that very like on point because the context does change. Your idea of what a man should be, I'll just speak for myself. It changed. When I became a dad, it changed. When I became a husband, it changed. When I became aware that my actions and my words and my thoughts were a direct reflection of what I was experiencing, that changed.
Yeah.
So the context is super important because it makes you adjust your cap.
Yep.
It makes you adjust your tie. Like, it just makes you more aware of where you're putting your feet, and it's not just 3, 5, 4, 5.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a man. It's like, nah, I'm a man, but I don't have to be aggressive in this situation. Right. I don't have to be stern in this situation. Even when it comes to being a dad and or being a parent and how we were parented. Yeah. That style has changed. Now that I'm old enough to say I can do something about it, it's changed. So I really like that. Yeah. Would you say that your idea of manhood from when you were younger to now, where did you get your framework for manhood, and how did that change over time? Like, how did that change from being a boy to being a man?
I was very fortunate from childhood up to have some men who were mentors to me that showed me different expressions of manhood. You know what I mean? And like, my father is my first mentor. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I learned a lot from my father. I learned not to take myself too seriously. You know what I mean? I learned how to enjoy myself from my father. Yeah. You know what I mean? Regardless of whatever else was happening, if it's funny to me, it's funny to me.
It's a fact.
You know? I learned, there was a gentleman named John Todd. I learned from him a lot in regard to fashion and personal style and expression. Like, I was like, I don't know, like 9 maybe, like when I first started, you know, rocking with him. And he was the first guy that would get suits made, and he would get manicures, and like, he was into stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? He was into, you know, single malt scotches and like, and he's a, you know, 6'2" chocolate black man from Florida, like, but he was into certain things that were like, they were his things. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, it showed me like, have your things. Yeah. It might not be these things, but have things that are your things, that are not just what everybody's doing. True. You know what I'm saying? And then it also showed me like, nah, in a way, it's like, I am the prize to me, for me. Nice. Like, I'm not the prize, and I don't consider myself the prize in any relationship. Yeah. But to me, for me, I am the prize. So take care of myself like the prize. Like, don't wear clothes just for utility. Yeah. Like, if that's not what resonates with me, don't dim down to that. Yeah. Take care of your, down to your fingernails. Like, take care of myself. True. You know what I'm saying? Then there was like Steve Donaldson. He's still my friend today. John Todd passed away. But Steve Donaldson is my man. Thank you. He was the one that gave me the green light when it comes to spoken word. Like, he used to produce a show back in the day at Bogies in East Orange, and he would let me come rock at the show. At the time, I'm 19 though, so I'm not supposed to. And you remember, like, my 19, I looked 13 at the time.
Because you look 19 now.
So like, he would let me come rock out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And every week, he was just like, yo, come here early, sit in the corner, cool out. Don't let me catch you near the bar. You know what I mean? You can do your thing every time. And like, he just let that happen. I was like, yo, that was so ill. Because I saw somebody in power be a gate opener and not like a gatekeeper, gate closer. And like, a lot of times that's how power gets expressed or like even talked about, you know what I mean? So I saw that from him, of like, a man in power creates opportunity. That's the good shit right there. Yeah, it's not like he's, you know, a tyrant. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Then Jerry Gant. Like Jerry Gant taught me like really sit inside my art.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Like really, really taught me like, nah, your art is important. Like not just if it's commercialized, not just if there's an audience. Your art is important to your being. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then by extension to the rest of the world.
True.
So like, and he told me like not to take shit from people who think that because they are on the check writing side or they are on the, you know, they create the VIP list or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
Like none of these people are cooler than me. None of them. You know what I mean? And like I got that from him. Like he's like, yo, don't let that position fool you into thinking that they're actually cooler than you or smarter than you or anything other than you. They're just in a position. That's all that is.
Even more qualified.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just got the job. That's it.
Period.
So yeah, like those men definitely showed me manhood in different expressions and like different iterations. And that group of men would never be a get-along gang hanging out together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got to get something from each of them separately and like, you know, have it my own Voltron from that.
Facts. Yeah. So would you say their influence challenged some of your ideologies of what manhood was, or in these different relationships, they just added to the cadence of your manhood as you grew into a man?
I would definitely say it challenged it at certain points. Like the manicure thing challenged it. Like as a adolescent, I'm already of the belief that manicures are feminine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that was immediately a challenge of like, feminine how?
Yeah.
Because women do it. Women pee too. Does that make that feminine?
Oh, you pee? Yeah, you ain't a real man. You pee, man. Come on, son.
You know what I'm saying? So like that was definitely a challenge. My father was not an aggressive person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like the caricature idea of manhood that I'm sure I had as a child, that's not what my father's manhood looked like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My father didn't dominate things. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a challenge. It was like you can be powerful without being dominant.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
So like that was a challenge. Yeah, I definitely believe that they challenged it. And they helped me to look for my own definition as well. Like seeing the diversity of expressions of manhood allowed me to be like, all right, well, I'm not just going to be an amalgamation of those guys' manhood.
Yeah.
What's my manhood?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that helped me to refine my own perspective and definition of it.
What age was that, or what time period was that for you when you started to define like manhood for yourself? Like, nah, nigga, hold up. You know what? Carry the 2, subtract the 7. This is where I'm at with it. Like, what was that time period, or what was that age?
I would say probably around fatherhood. So my daughter was born, I think I was 25 at the time. So that was the first. You know how fatherhood is the first thing that like significantly softens you?
Yeah.
In a way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was that. It was like, nah, I would lean into, I'm like my daughter, you know, in the car seat, I would just go for rides with her. You know what I mean? And like, we're not having conversation even.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like she gave me access to that softening, so to speak, and just it allowed me to see myself as a thing to me, like it allowed me to see myself as someone who could access something for my own sake, specifically for the softer side of me or for the harder. Like I can access the harder side of me easy. I think that's what like manhood kind of is most aligned with. Like how do you harden yourself or toughen yourself, or how do you turn yourself into the beast or whatever. Yeah. And like there's the other side of it, is like how do you access the softer side? How do you access your femininity? Yeah. How do you access your compassion?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or even like your curiosity. You know what I mean? And then there's the mentorship aspect, even in like jobs that I had when I was younger. Like somebody being better at it than me, allow me to put myself in the student place, in the place of the mentee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that part of it was really, really helpful for me. Like, and I think it's a muscle that I still get to exercise where like I am not just cool with being the student or we'll call it the student. I am happy to be the student. It's like when they say like, you know, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Sometimes it's the teacher appears to a student with open eyes.
Yeah.
And you can see the teacher in that.
Fact.
And so like I get to see that in people and be like, yo, I can get some jewels from you. I can get gems from you. I can get wisdom from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can get better understanding than I have presently. So that was also a result of having had those mentors and having those men that showed me these different types of manhood. I'm curious now to find other types of manhood. Like, what's it look like? All of those men of my mentor, they're all black.
Yeah.
What's some white people doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's gonna look different.
Yeah.
Everybody's context is their context.
Yeah.
So it's gonna look different when they're, you know, a white man. Or it's gonna look different when they're a senior citizen.
Yeah.
When they're elderly, and I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, I'm getting something that I'm just not gonna get elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know
Facts.
what I mean?
Facts. Nah, it makes a lot of sense because for me, my manhood shifted. It was kind of like a twofold. It shifted when I was 14. I remember being in the church and being asked to pray a lot and getting hit with you have the anointing of prayer conversation started to make me look at life a little bit more serious at 14. I was like, man, well, if I'm called to be this prayer warrior, then I have to have a certain cadence. I have to have a certain level of manhood within me. And then it shifted again when I became a dad. I became a dad at 20.
Yeah.
So it shifted again. And coincidentally, as I was shifting into fatherhood, I was shifting out of Christianhood because certain ideologies I didn't agree with. Yeah. And because I didn't agree with them, I questioned them. And because I questioned them, my curiosity was just like, well, what was here before this? And when did we start looking at one God versus multiple gods?
Right.
And that led me down a path, like I was telling one of my other guests how when I became a dad, I watched TV. I didn't watch TV for a year. I just read books. I was wearing the Steve Harvey pants with the hard bottom shoes and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like that's what a man is.
Yeah.
Man is, he wears suits.
Right.
He's clean shaven. Yeah. He's more militant in his approach. And I kind of put a lot of my humor to the side at that time as well. So watching these different verticals change, it was like you said, it's a progressive moving up versus a slow decline or even a plateau. Yeah. It was like, oh, this is what manhood is. No, this is what manhood is. Nah, this is what manhood is. You know what I'm saying? Like the choir and shit, how the choir be like, So it's interesting to be hearing these, because a lot of the reason why I'm doing this as well is to get the other voices. Yeah, I'm a black man in the world, or was known as a black man in the world, but I also know that I'm not the only man in this world. Yeah. I also understand that there are other types of men. There's Asian men, and what do they do? Like you said, there's white guys, and what do they do? There's Caribbean guys, and what do they do? Yep. And they not really black, even though they black. If that makes sense. I feel like black is just an American thing, and everywhere else you just from where you from. You Jamaican, you Jamaican. You Chinese, you Chinese. You Russian, you Russian. Right. It's not black Russian, black German. It's you just dark, but you here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I definitely want to hear what else is in the fray, because our context is poverty first, and then from poverty, we come from the ashes like phoenixes or something like that. And then it's like, but it's so much more, because what happens to the guy who doesn't grow up in poverty? And how does he view manhood? And what is his level of shared responsibility or individual responsibility?
Yeah.
How does he go about doing that, and so forth and so on? Yep. So this is like my own journey into myself as a man, and this version of being 44. What does manhood look like to me now that I've experienced these different ideologies up close and personal?
Yeah.
So it's interesting you say that, because I'm like, man, there's so many things that has changed my awareness of who I am being as a man, because I'm a person first, and then I'm a man, and then blah 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 blah. Yeah. So it's just interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think, like, I know that some of it has to do with just societal norms and, like, men being in power and patriarchy and all the things that come from it. So, like, I recognize that I have had the experience growing up and in adulthood where I'm placed in positions of responsibility and leadership. Yeah. Simply because I qualify as a male. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like you were saying, like, in the church, you know what I mean? Or, like, if it's in prayer or if it's in counseling, like, there's certain aspects of my experience and the positions that I've held in life in whatever community I was in at the time, where I have something to pull from, even if I'm not doing that thing anymore.
Yeah, fact.
You know what I mean? Like, even, like, to your point, like, the idea of, somebody says you're anointed, for prayer. You immediately start thinking about, how do I view prayer? Like, am I doing right by this? Yeah, that part. You know what I mean? And it's like the same mental consideration can be applied in so many other places where it's like, oh, okay, I'm doing a podcast. Yeah. How would I do right by doing a podcast? Facts. Because there's a responsibility here. And
100%.
There's an audience and somebody's going to listen to this. And will I have done right by their attention? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like things like that really have given me a glimpse into, like, going within. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I can look back at these different experiences and positions and responsibilities and how each time I had to, even if I didn't call it going within at the time or didn't realize that's what it was, that's what it was. Yeah. So, like, now I have a thing to call it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And, like, so now I get to remind myself by way of the language to do that. Yeah. Like, show up properly or appropriately for the role. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of that has to do with me being a man or being a male growing up into manhood. Yeah. Like, I get to survey myself in my role with respect to who I'm serving. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It's like you become aware, and not just aware, but accountable to the awareness, and not just accountable to the awareness, but like actually serving the accountability and serving to the awareness that you're serving. Right. It's like, look, invested into it. Yeah. Facts. It's not just some cool shit on a bumper sticker. Right. It's like, nah, I live this, I breathe this. Yeah. I go home and I reflect. I go home and I contemplate. When I'm out in the world, I'm thinking about, where are my hands? Are my hands in threatening position? No, it's not a knife. I promise. It's just, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, nah, that's super thoughtful, man. And I'm glad to have that on wax, that men can be thoughtful. Yeah. It's not just relegated to a woman's energy. It's not just relegated to it being a quality only associated with a certain sex. Right. If that makes sense. Yeah. So it's like, I like being the not softer man per se, but I like the fact that I'm writing what I feel like is manhood for myself. Yeah. I'm not giving
it's not to say that I don't have certain ideologies that still are there, but one of them is not, if my son's crying, stop crying, you act like a little bitch.
Right.
It's not that at all. If anything, it's like, yeah, you cry. When my grandmother passed, it was the first time my youngest son ever seen me cry. And he's like, Dad, like, you cry? I'm like, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah, I cry.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, last week I was in the car driving down the street and I was crying.
Yeah.
Why you was crying, Dad?
Yeah.
He's like, man, you was sad? Not really sad, but sometimes you don't know why you're crying. Sometimes you just need to release some of that energy.
Yeah.
And it comes out in tears.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah.
So don't look at crying as like something to be afraid of, or something that makes you weak or whatever. If anything, it makes you strong.
Yeah.
Because you can stand 10 toes on what you actually feel.
Yeah.
And not feel like you got to kind of brush it off or push it to the side in order to be viewed as a man and you're strong and you tough.
Yeah.
Bruh, I done seen and heard of men who murder and in the act of murdering are crying.
Yeah.
Like hysterical tears, sad, all the different emotions you could think of. Because they're committing this act or whatever. So I like that you're present and aware of how you're moving, because I feel like a lot of times we don't get that either. We don't get the respect to be conscious, to be aware, to be moving through the world with a cadence of like, I mean to do this.
Yeah.
It's almost like men get put in a reactionary box. It's like, if you do, then a man will.
Yeah,
It's not true. Not from my experience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What about you?
Yeah, I think men in our society over these years and years and centuries are, because we're in the role of the provider and protector, there is a degree of, if this happen, if then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, men know what to do if.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Might not do it well, might not even go do it. But they know if somebody comes, you know what I mean, and slaps my sister, I know what to do.
It's up.
I know it's up, and it's up immediately. And I am the aggressor from that point on.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I definitely think that the role for men has been defined in such a way that men are the answer. Like, the answer comes from men in this world. So, yeah, if something happens, men are conditioned and taught and raised to be aware of what their role is for the service of others. Yeah. Like, it doesn't get articulated this way when we're talking about patriarchy, or when people talk about patriarchy, but there's an awful lot of service in the identity of manhood. There's an incredible amount of service in it, and that's why you can, in the conversation of what's a good man, the answer is largely in, what does he produce? Does he produce safety for his family? Does he produce a livelihood for his family? Does he produce good for the community? And for, like, all of that good man stuff shows up outside his character. He gotta produce something. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Yeah. I wanted to, you really made me think something about the crying. It's like crying and laughter are the two purest expressions of emotion. Like, you don't laugh because you mean to laugh. Yeah. The thing is funny. The thing strikes you how it strikes you. You laugh
immediately.
You know what I mean? And crying is the same way. It's like, that's an incredibly honest and pure expression of an emotion, whether you can articulate it or not. Yeah. And to your point, it's not necessarily from sadness or anything negative. Like, crying from joy is submitting to crying from joy is an incredibly rewarding experience.
Facts.
Like, if you actually let yourself have that moment, knowing that it coming from elation.
Yeah.
Coming from being overwhelmed with good feeling.
Yeah.
It's such a rewarding experience to like have a way to express that.
Yeah.
Without articulation.
Fact.
It's just expressive.
Fact.
You're not bottling that up. You know what I mean? And like we
say this for later.
Yeah, right?
Nah.
The joy ain't gonna be there later.
You about to get this now.
Like the joke ain't gonna be there later. It's like this a right now.
Facts.
Yeah, man. I dig that.
It's like when you retell a joke, some shit be funny, and then you try to tell it to somebody that wasn't there in the moment. You know what I'm saying? You be like, yeah, and then the thing, and then, man, that shit was fun as hell.
You had to be there. I guess you had to be there.
Yo, mad times, like, you had to be in the moment.
Yes.
In order to get the cadence and the delivery and the blah, you had to be there. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to ask you, because you had mentioned service. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you live a life of servitude? And what is that life of servitude toward or for?
Most recently, I'll say that I am of the belief that I live a life of exchange. So I absolutely serve. You know, I serve the people around that I care about around me. I serve the community I live in. I serve the planet. In whatever ways I can serve, you know what I mean, or that I serve.
Yeah, understood.
You know, but I've become a lot more aware recently of how much I'm in receipt of service.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't honestly say I sit in the seat of service because I'm receiving so much. Okay. You know what I mean? And part of my current conscientiousness about myself is, am I keeping my cup full so that I can spill over?
Okay.
Like my service comes from spilling over.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's not because I have more than I can hold. It's all more than I can hold. Like life is beyond me. Yeah. I can't hold any of it. This is crazy. What is happening right here? Like, what is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the idea that when I am full, I can't help but spill over. That is what happens to a vessel. It's not a choice. It's not a nobility. It's like, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So as long as I keep myself full, I will keep myself in service.
Yeah.
Like it's going to happen. You know what I mean? And I'm going to look for ways because I have all of this to share. Like I got so much. The stuff that's spilling over, I can't even count it. I can only count up to full. I can't count past that. So like, I'm looking for where to serve and where to share and what, you know what I mean? How to provide and create. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like, I can't hold it.
Yeah. Gotta find some way to put it.
Yeah, and there's so many places.
Yeah.
Amongst the people that I know, and just ideas that pop.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, this could be good for somebody, even if I don't know who the somebody is. Like this idea is an idea in service to someone in the world.
Facts. It's a fact.
Yeah.
I ask you that because I'm starting to find myself in a place where I am thinking of service, where I want to. I've always served. Yeah. My baseline has always been service.
Yeah.
Haphazardly sometimes, at a detriment to myself. A lot of times, being a former people pleaser, overextending myself in the name of service.
Yeah.
And now that I'm finding the cadence that feels good to me, what changed it was not identifying what I do with who I am. So I'm not a videographer. I am not a content creator. Right. I create content.
Yeah.
I shoot videos. I edit films. I shoot pictures. I do these things, but I am not these things.
Yeah.
Because when I stopped like consciously writing bars to release music, I went through an identity crisis. And I felt like that was my only like place that I was serving the world by giving words on a beat that was crafted, you know, in a certain way. And redefining what that was for me, redefining what service was for me, redefining how to serve just got me to a place where it's like, no, you serve with your presence. You also serve with your perspective.
Yeah.
You also serve with monetary and non-monetary.
Mm-hmm.
You also serve with not saying shit.
Yeah.
Like you can also be in service by just, like you said, observing the situation or whatever it is and applying a right and appropriate amount of energy, effort, and presence to that thing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to get your take on how you view your servitude to the world. It's just somebody who has received the service. Like, bro, you really be out here doing your thing.
Thank
like,
you.
Creating a space for people to be okay with being who they are, as opposed to trying to put on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's ultimate service. Like, dog, I'm me. And I'm saying when you're around me, you could be you too.
Yeah.
You don't have to be clout.
Word.
You don't have to be this. You don't have to be that.
Yeah.
You don't have to be nothing you do when you're around me.
Yeah.
You can just be you.
Yeah.
Who do these things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is pretty ill to me.
Yeah. I some of my perspective I know comes back from like realizing that I had a savior complex for a long time. So like I was over indexing on service because I believed that there was saving to do and that it was on me to do it. You know?
Yeah.
And like that, having that realization has really helped me and making the decision not to continue that has really helped me to kind of like re-measure or recalibrate my idea and expression of service. Because after a certain point, when it's like a savior complex, when it's a hero complex and all that, at a certain point, it's not service.
Yeah.
It's just ego feeding.
Yeah.
Because I think it's on me to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My flag, my cape is blowing in the wind.
Don't you see this?
You know what I mean? And like at that point, it's like, so it wasn't service anyway.
Yeah.
So why don't you, I'll be talking to myself. I'd be like, self, because it'd be me, because I'll be wearing my underwear. So I'm like, self, like, what is service?
Yeah.
What's earnest service?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like favors.
Yeah.
Like people will call themselves doing you a favor.
Yeah.
That is not a favor to you.
Not a favor, dog.
You know what I mean? But because like they're on the giving end and you're on the receiving end, that's supposed to make it a favor. It's like, nah, first off, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that thing.
Yeah,
you know what
facts,
I mean?
facts.
Or like, me taking that thing from you stops me from getting the actual thing that I want.
Yeah.
Because now I got to service your service.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm ungrateful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it'll just tear your whole shit up.
It's whack.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if it wasn't for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, dog, hold up. I thought that was a favor.
Right.
Like, nah, you really wanted the compensation for that thing? Oh, now I know what it is. I get it. So we were transacting.
Yes.
Got you. Say less. You know what I'm saying? And I've been there, so I'm not, all of what I say, let me just say this. All of what I say has been my realizations on my journey. I'm moving from the space of when I've categorized something, putting you in there and putting myself. So yeah, when you get to a point, when I got to a point and that point was this is what I did.
Yep.
Doesn't make me an expert.
Right.
It just makes me have experience.
Yeah.
And I only have experience in my life, which to me, my life is the one that matters the most because of who I interact with, my kids, my wife, my friends, my business associates, so forth and so on, my coworkers and all that other good shit. So I just felt like I need to put the disclaimer out there. Yeah. Like, nah, this is tried and true for me.
Right.
And what's tried and true for Mr. Glover is tried and true for Mr. Glover. We are just talking about our experience.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. And maybe you'll agree. Maybe you don't agree. And if you don't agree, that's cool. Let's discuss so we can figure out what other points of views and perspectives are out there, right? So I'll say this, or ask this rather. Mm-hmm. Because you do a lot. As a photographer, you have various verticals in business. Mm-hmm. So how did you get to what you do in terms of business or in entrepreneurship? Was service a part of that cadence? Was this a buck to the system? Like, what was your reasoning for diving into entrepreneurship the way you've been diving into entrepreneurship, being a multi-hyphenate?
Couple things it comes from. One, I would say the earliest thing, and this was, the idea hadn't even crystallized at the time, but as a child, I saw my parents. My parents were brilliant people in dim job roles. Yeah. And like my father was a truck driver. My mom was a bookkeeper. Okay. I knew as a child my mother and my father were more brilliant than their jobs. You know what I mean? And like with my mom especially, because my mom was so adamant about saying, I'm a bookkeeper, I'm not an accountant. Yeah. You know, and but at the job, my mom's contribution to the company, it skirted the line at best. Yeah. Like she was a lot more accountant than she would ever claim to be. Yeah. Because she didn't have the accountant certification or what have you. You know what I mean? But like the work is the work.
Yeah, you was out here grinding on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I saw that at an early age, and I was just like, that. I didn't make any decisions at the time, but it definitely had an impression on me of like being dim or fractional of yourself. Yeah. And how that it was uncomfortable to observe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Then I was working in advertising at the time. I used to work at an agency in the city. And they had and I hadn't gone to college. I didn't go to college. Yeah. So I got a job from there. I used to work in the mailroom at a company. This agency, I had office space in the building. So I would deliver the mail. But at the time, I'm dressed up every day. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not just wearing some khakis and a, button down or polo shirt. Like
suits.
You know what I mean? Like I had already
green suit, black suit, brown suit, blue suit.
You know what I mean? Fact. Like I had already been put on a custom suit by then. Like y'all not gonna just see me out here in some chaps. Like,
is that a polo shirt? Oh, right. That's nice.
Right. Like, But so I get introduced to the ad agency. Eventually, they move out the building to their own offices, and they told me they would hire me when they were hiring. Yeah. Right. And it was like, this was a small boutique agency at the time. So it was like 2-3 people in the office. So when I got hired there, that was my introduction to essentially content creation. You know what I mean? Like in the role. Yeah. And that company though had a policy of they don't promote from within. Yeah. So like at a certain point, like I started out obviously very entry level, you know what I mean, at the ground level, because they had to essentially create a role for me because I wasn't in the industry. Okay. You know what I mean? So like I was essentially hired as a helper. Yeah. Essentially, right? But, rose up to occupy the industry role in the company the same way every other agency has. Got you. Their production folks. And when they told me they don't promote from within, it was like, oh shit, I've just hit my head on the ceiling that I didn't know was there. Yeah. And I'm not interested in just I still want to get better. Yeah. So like, how much better am I going to be able to get if y'all don't raise the ceiling at all? You know what I mean? So when I left that company, I went to go help my friend with a restaurant he was opening. And that was my first like venture into entrepreneurship, And then as a creative, it was like I still pulled from like the advertising experience. So like in photography and whatnot, I was like, oh, I have an understanding of lighting. I have an understanding of composition. Because I was in the field.
Yeah.
I wasn't the photographer, but I was the producer on the photo shoot.
Yeah.
So like I had to be aware of all the things, even if I didn't have the expertise of the photographer.
Yeah.
And I started a blog, and I knew I wanted to take my own photos.
Yeah.
For like events or for like products or whatever the things were.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into photography. And then as far as like things, fortunately my curiosity has been kept alive and strong enough that I do delve into things if it gets enough of my attention.
Yeah.
So like I delve into cooking at a certain point when I hadn't been cooking, chefing it up like that before. Video content, you know what I mean? Making body products. Like all of these things are like, it got enough of my attention and my curiosity was strong enough that I could lean into it.
Yeah.
But the idea was clear to me that whatever my offering is, there's somebody that will buy it. Like pet rocks are a thing.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
I'm not out here slinging pet rocks. So like
it's a Doberman.
Yeah. So like whatever it is, it's like, nah, there's a commercialization for it.
Yeah. And
if I'm interested enough in it, the amount of energy that I put into it has a direct correlation to how scalable is this thing.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Like, do I have enough energy that I require more people? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like that says a lot about how scalable the thing is.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean? Do I have enough energy that I'll stay up late doing it, knowing that I'm not a night person? Or you know what I mean? Or I'll wake up extra early for it. It's like everything becomes Great Adventure. Everything becomes Six Flags.
Yeah.
It's like I wake up early for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I can find that type of electricity in the thing, there's something there.
Yeah.
You know? So like I think a lot of it has just been the fortune of finding out these things are true along the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't the plan in advance of like, nah, this is gonna work this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I've been fortunate enough to try long enough and go deep enough that I got to see something come out of it.
Yeah.
And it got to confirm for me like, all right, double down or apply these transferable skills from over here to it so that you can do it in a different twist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that has a lot to do with it. And then, you know, there is there's a phrase that says the universe bends to the will of the aggressor. Right? And a kind of a twist on that is like things happen by way of people happening.
Yeah.
And people making something happen. So like, you know, if it's a business negotiation and person on the other side of the table, if I'm negotiating with you and you're like, my budget, and this is a thing I've experienced. So back to your point, I'm going to tell you about what I have actually seen and experienced.
Got you.
You know, somebody says to me, I need somebody to do a photo shoot. My budget is whatever, $500, right? For one, from my experience in work and in jobs and in my own business, I know that it's important for me to have an idea of a number, even if I don't have a number.
Yeah.
Like somebody's budget, that has nothing to do with me. Yeah. That's just an arbitrary number to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I know if I'm going to take this work, I have an understanding of what all is in the work. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I have to be able to say, well, my price for that is X. Even if my price is the same as your budget. Yeah. But we're not doing it just because it's your budget and I agree. Yeah. You know what I mean? And most times, my price is not inside their budget. Yeah. Because they're not coming from my perspective. They don't know what it takes to actually do it. They just know how much they feel comfortable spending. That's a fact. On a thing they don't feel any comfort in doing. Yeah. Right? Facts. Or any response, or they don't have to do the thing. Yeah. But having had the experiences where I say what my number is, I say what my terms are, and if that means that we don't do this work, then we don't do this work. Facts. But if we do this work, I won't be mad at you for agreeing to your price or your terms.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And that has helped build up my business acumen and apply it in different spaces so that the different things that I do, the multi-hyphenate things, can all be profitable and rewarding. Yeah. Because I'm not letting anything suffer the client. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or suffer the work itself. Like I'm doing all of these things because I enjoy them. Yeah. I'm not here to suffer none of this. Yeah. I'm not here to suffer a photo shoot. You know what I mean? I'm not here to suffer any of these things. Yeah. So by way of this exchange, this business deal, whatever, I'm not going to suffer it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which allows me to do the things and not have to lay anything down because like, nah, that, you know what I mean? I got exhausted. Yeah. I don't want to do photo shoots no more. Yeah. Now I'm resentful. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I got 7 photo shoots today, man. This is crazy. I hate everybody. Yeah, that part. Facts. Yeah. Because it'll change. It'll change. From my experience with entrepreneurship, I've actually found more space getting a job. I found so much more space having a slow trickle that I can be free and be creative and everything doesn't depend on this deal. Yep. Which, when it was that, I was moving very transactional. Very, I'll do it. Yeah. And my heart is not in it. Yeah. My energy's not in it. I'm not getting no fulfillment from it. But I gotta pay these fucking bills. Like the rent is due. Yeah. The phone bill is due. The daycare is due. Yep. Groceries gotta get bought. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And being in a place where I can fully be expressive, it's completely changed the cadence of how I create. Yeah. Because I don't have to do it. Right. I don't have to. I feel compelled to do this. Yeah. Because I feel like there are voices that need to be heard that aren't. There's conversations that need to be heard that aren't. Yep. Or need to be had that aren't. Or at least watched that aren't. Yeah. So this is more of it's like a pull. It's like magnet, like how Hov said, and the two attract like magnets. Like, I feel that way. I feel compelled to do everything that I'm doing because there is an intrinsic joy that I get from it. Before it used to be contentment. Like, man, I'm content. You know what I'm saying? I don't really, but it's fulfillment. Yeah. It's totally 100% fulfillment. Yeah. I get reciprocity from what I'm putting out. Yep. I'm putting this into this, and because I'm putting this into this, and I'm watching it do what it do, and I'm seeing it grow, and I'm getting a certain energy from it that's like, nah, I'm okay with being up till 5 a.m, knowing I got to be to work at 5:30 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with shooting until 3 a.m, knowing I have to turn right back around. Right. I'm okay with going through my day, kicking it with the family, and then when everybody goes to sleep, I go and do my thing. It's 10, 11 o'clock, and I start to go do my thing. Right. But I'm not dragging ass. Yeah. I'm energized. Yeah. Because it's just like, dog, I get to do this now. Yep. And it's no longer, what am I going to get out of this? Yeah. What am I going to get from this? No, what do I have a chance to give in this? Yeah. And I know eventually the giving is going to be a get. I know I'm going to get from this. Yeah. What? I don't know. Yeah. I'm not relegating it to one thing or the other thing. Right. I just know that if it's fulfillment, whatever comes with it is going to be icing on the cake anyway. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What level? Go ahead. Yeah. You was about to say something?
I had I don't know if I told you this, but I had a panic attack recently, or like it started to come on, right? Fortunately, like early enough into it, I got to identify. Yeah. Like, I don't know what this is. Yeah. Oh, this must be one of those panic attacks people talk about.
I heard about this.
Right? And then like, all right, sit still. Yeah. And remind myself like there isn't a problem actually right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Nothing is wrong. Yeah. I'm not in danger. Yeah. Like everything is all right. Yeah. There's something going on in my head that I haven't figured out that has got into my nervous system. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I didn't know what it was, and then eventually, I'm like in that moment, I realized what it was, and it was like, oh, I have had a lot of really good days.
Yeah.
Like back to back, like I have a really good life.
Yeah.
If I just had this window as what my life is, this is amazing. I keep having good days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the anxiety was, I don't know why. Like, I don't know the formula to make tomorrow as good a day as the past 90 days or whatever.
Jeez.
So, like, am I about to go over a cliff?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, is this all about to, right?
Yeah.
And fortunately, I then realized the formula. The formula for my success. And it's not transactional.
Yeah.
It's still the formula.
Yeah.
Right? The formula for, I write this down every day. The formula for my success is that I mind my thoughts, speech, and actions and practice healthy habits and routines in alignment with my principles and my highest vibrations with the fullness of my emotions.
Yeah.
If I do that every day, I have a good day every day.
Yeah.
And there is no transaction to it.
Yeah.
But good is going to come back.
Facts.
If I do that.
Facts.
You know what I mean? If I am locked in on do my thoughts, speech, actions, habits, and routines align with my principles.
Yeah.
And my highest vibration, my highest vision of myself.
Yeah.
Am I being the person of my highest vision? You know what I mean? And am I doing it with the fullness of my emotion? Like, am I submitting to it?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Am I submitting to the joy? Am I submitting to the sadness? Am I submitting to the motivation? Whatever the things are.
Yeah.
And so it also helped me to identify that, like, there are so many times where a good thing just happens.
Yeah, true.
And it's not in return of anything I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least not transactionally. So, like, then I get to see, like, oh, okay, my job is to be and do the good.
Yeah.
And the universe and God and the ancestors and the babies take care of the rest.
Yeah, facts.
Like, I have universal cooperation when I do good.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean? And I don't have to figure out nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't. It doesn't mean that every day is going to be good either.
Yeah.
You know, but it's going to be a better day when I do those things, even if calamity strikes.
Yeah.
Than if I hadn't done those things and calamity strikes.
Ooh,
then it's like, I ain't even got to lean. I don't got ropes to lean back on.
Yeah.
I'm just about to fall out this ring.
Got to get knocked clean out.
Yeah.
Fact.
It's like, but, I got it. And it's a thing that I can practice every day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never handicapped. I'm never handcuffed that I can't practice the formula.
Yeah. And if you are, it's probably of your own doing to challenge the level of what you can do or what your capabilities are. Because sometimes there's a plateau, and then there's a spark, and then that spark does whatever it does in multiple ways.
Yeah.
It plants whatever seeds it plants where the seeds go or whatever, and then there is a challenge that happens, and then that challenge creates more sparks. That now that those sparks are there, when you look around, you like, damn, it was that and that and that and that. Almost like back in the day where I see Jim and Tim and Tom and Harry. Like, you see all of these different occurrences where there was a little bit of challenge, but I guess it was yourself or the universe calling for that level of resistance for you to, like, really maximize on your strength.
Yeah.
What would you say, or would you say that being emotionally intelligent played a part in being able to kind of see and sift through all of this stuff? Or like, is it even a case? Was it even a place where you like, all right, I need to be in check in all of this. I need to be in check in order to do all of this.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So, like, I can give you an example. There was like a unpleasant business dealing that I experienced, and without getting into the bullet points of the thing, it was like somebody that I was doing some business with was playing a little dirtier than I was interested in playing. Yeah. Right. And it gave me emotional intelligence. Gave me a couple things. One, it allowed me to police myself to not respond in kind. Yeah. Right. Like I'm gonna be me, and I'm not just gonna be a ricochet of somebody else's actions. Yeah. Right. Thanks. And also, it allowed me to empathize with that person, because it was just like, oh, you're scared. Yeah. Or you don't feel in control, so you need to apply some pressure so that I'll back up. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I understand what you're doing, and I understand that it's not necessarily because you just want ill for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or malicious or vicious toward me. You scared. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or you don't feel powerful enough. And so that helped me to not, that like compounded the initial idea to not respond in kind. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, I get it. You're like, it's not even a fair fight. You fighting scared. I'm not scared.
I have to pick up bricks and shit.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I would just destroy you if I just fight you. Yeah. So like, the emotional intelligence helps incredibly, because in dealing with human beings of any age, race, gender, left hand, right hand, like whatever, empathy allows you to see even what the other person doesn't intend to show you. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, it allows you to see their operating system, so to speak. Yeah. And not just the lights and bells and what they say and do. Yeah. It's like, oh, I get what's underneath that. Yeah. And I get that there's humanity underneath that. It's not like what's underneath that is a piece of shit. Yeah. It's a whole human. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so like, I get to engage that whole human with humanity. Yeah. You know what I mean? And also get to maintain my humanity. Don't become a monster because somebody said some fucked up shit. Yeah. Or like somebody did something out of line. Yeah. You know what I mean? So the emotional intelligence for sure helps in both of those ways. It helps me to like be present with me, take stock of how do I feel. Yeah. Like, am I scared? Like when I'm scared, you know what I mean? That's the answer. That's the truth. In that moment, I wasn't scared of the interaction. Yeah. You know what I mean? Facts. I wasn't scared of the context. I wasn't scared of not doing no business at all. Yeah. We can walk away from this right now, and I'll give you a hug tomorrow. Like, I don't got no issue. You know what I mean?
It's not that deep for me.
Right. Yeah. But like, but the emotional intelligence makes a difference between fronting like, oh, I'm unaffected, and really being present and knowing, oh, I'm not affected. That bounced off me because I'm all right, because I'm solid. Facts. Yeah, the emotional intelligence for sure.
I'm trying to keep these to a certain time, but also realizing that conversations are conversations, and there's value in all parts of it. So it's gonna go how far it's gonna go. Okay. So I'll ask you. I only have 2 final questions or whatever statements to or ask. One of them is there anything in this exchange that, being that it is a platform from a heart-led man, man to heart-led men, for heart-led men, is there any part of this exchange between you and I that we didn't discuss, or you feel like it's something that would be valuable to discuss for this particular platform?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna just go into my cheat bag then. Okay. So I can tell you a couple of things that I talk about on the podcast. Okay. On my podcast, which is I would absolutely love to converse about.
Let's go.
So I want to hear from you. What is your relationship with death?
As of lately, my relationship with death has changed. Death was always, and it's continuing to change. When my dad was alive, we would discuss death very casually.
Yeah.
It'd be like, well, my question I will always pose to my dad is like, how do we know that the life we live isn't the life that we died into? Mm-hmm. Like we died and then we just became this.
Yeah.
When my grandmother passed a few months ago, what I started to recognize is in order for somebody to be born, you need mom and dad. Without mom and dad, your genome code, your DNA doesn't exist.
Right.
So there's a part of your mom, there's a part of your dad that exists within your DNA code, which gives space or credence to the notion that nothing ever dies.
Right.
So when I think about my dad, well, shit, my dad is still alive. He may not be in the physical body that he was when he was here.
Yeah.
However, the remnants of what created me from my dad helped me also create my kids, my sons. So my dad is still alive and well within me, my brother, my nephew, my niece, my sons. So my relationship with death lately has been less fear and pain and anguish and more curiosity. Why is it pain?
Yeah.
Why is it fear?
Yeah.
Why is death one of those things that when it happens, it's viewed as bad? Like, yes, there's tragedy, there's like tragic death, and then there's just death.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you get murdered or you're in a crazy car accident or some wild, unforeseen circumstance, that's crazy.
Yeah.
However, if you're an older person and you've lived a life that people love you, they care about you, and you just, it's your time, quote unquote, I feel like what is the grief? Like, what is the grief in that, knowing that person lived the fullest life that they could?
Yeah.
And how am I figuring out what is my version of living a full life for myself?
Yeah.
Because once I check out, that's it.
Word.
Like, nobody make it out alive.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So once I check out, there's no do-over.
Yeah.
Not in this version of it.
Right.
Maybe I come back as a cat.
Right.
Maybe a butterfly.
Right.
Maybe a bee that stings of somebody and that person becomes the person that does whatever they do.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But my relationship with death has become less fear and more curiosity. Like, well, what does happen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How about you?
Similar to you, it's changed recently.
Yeah.
Like, it's I'll tell you a story. My mom died last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Rest in peace.
And thank you. And she was diagnosed with cancer. She had pancreatic cancer. She got diagnosed in the spring. She died September. And I remember one day over the summer, I'm sitting on the side of the bed, and I come across this video of Yebba singing Bridge Over Troubled Water, right? Singing this gospel song. And I'm listening to it, and it's, Negro spirituals around sickness and death.
Yeah.
They gonna get you.
Every time.
They gonna get you, right?
Fell out right in the living room.
But like, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to the words.
Yeah.
Right? And the words are written in a first person perspective, and the person says, I can, if I can remember, is when you're weary and feeling small and tears are in your eyes, I will dry them. Sorry, I'm trying to remember it to the rhythm.
Yeah.
Like, I will dry them. I am by your side.
Yeah.
And then further into the hook of the song is, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled waters. Right. And I kept hearing that. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled waters. And the image in my head became, if you have lived a long and full life.
Yeah.
When you're 80, whatever, 90, whatever the age is, the family and friends around you when you are dying, for them, that's a time of troubled water. It's like, it's coming.
Yeah.
And it is very much a focal point for everybody. Whether it's an illness or just old age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're 90, everybody around you is thinking about your death. You know what I mean? Whether you got an illness or not.
Yeah.
But the idea that, like, I believe that some people, maybe not all people, but some people, when they die in old age,
yeah,
they die because they actually become ready. And their spirit actually submits to the death.
Yeah.
Right? And it don't happen quickly. Like, some people will tell you they're ready to go and they don't die that night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, sometimes the idea is, if you live a long, full life, and in your life you lived in service,
yeah,
especially to your family, and you took care of your people,
yeah,
you can bring them peace in your death. Because they're not haunted anymore by this, when is it going to happen?
When is it going to happen? Yeah.
Right? And they're also not haunted with the thoughts of you being in pain or being so tired.
Yeah.
Or not feeling the spark of life in you and just, like, dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can mean that. And then, not to mention, like, you can have a life insurance policy where you take care of your family after your death. Like, that's another thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which, like, we should all.
Yeah.
That's the thing that men are, not all men, but men more than women are told. Like, have a life insurance policy.
Yeah.
So that your family's taken care of in your death.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, it's more than a gift.
Yeah.
It is a bridge over troubled water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It creates a way for the people to get through.
Yeah, true.
You know? And I appreciate that so much now, because I don't think of the people that I've lost in death as gone.
Yeah.
To oblivion.
Yeah.
I don't even think of them as gone to heaven. I don't think of them as gone. Like, I think of them as that energy, that spirit is fully existing right now.
Yeah.
It's just not on this plane or in this place. And that personality, that sense of humor, that intelligence, that compassion, like, all of those character traits of that person, I can still call up.
Yeah.
And so, for me, they're not gone.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine what my mom would say if I'm in a conversation with her about whatever subject.
Yeah.
And I can't guess my mom's literal words.
Yeah.
Any more than I could have when she was alive on this plane.
But you
but
got
I know
the gist.
what my mom's way of thinking and sense of humor and consideration was like.
Yeah.
And so I can still call on that.
Yeah.
I can still call on that and it creates more onus for me to, like, be me.
Yeah.
Fully in this life, on this plane, in this place, so that people can call on it when I'm absent.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I've definitely my thinking around death and my feelings around death and my relationship with death have definitely changed of late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, man, because when the day my grandmother died, it was heavy because she was full of life.
Yeah.
Like, I expected my grandfather to check out before my grandmother.
Right.
My grandmother was still, Babe, can you order me an Uber because I need to go up to the care station?
Yeah.
Babe, can you DoorDash me some food tonight because I don't feel like cooking?
Yeah.
That was my grandmother.
Yeah.
So she was still, like, even in the hospital.
Right.
She had a mild heart attack. They put the stent in. She walked out of the hospital like 3 days later.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And everybody looking like, I heard the nurses behind the station whisper to the other one, like, you know, she just had a bypass. And the other nurse was like, and she's already walking.
Right.
Like, she's a strong lady. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, in conceptualizing, like, what's ready, maybe she was ready. You know what I mean? Part of me feel like that because we exist in this for-profit way of life, that maybe some of these deaths aren't supposed to be ready yet. And maybe that's the calamity that we're experiencing in the world.
Gotcha.
Maybe it's just all of these unjust, it's not your time, ready to go. And, you know, now it's time to pay the piper type shit.
Right.
But what I do have comfort in is knowing that those experiences I can draw from. When my grandmother says to me, simple, she said, you can't control nothing. Only thing you control is what you do, what you say, and how you respond. Not react.
Right.
She never said react.
Right.
And it didn't hit me until after. It's like, oh, because reactions they're not thoughtful.
Right.
A reaction is just what it is.
Right.
It's
Reflex.
just,
Yeah.
It's not, So what I have to say about this, it's like, well, first of all, fuck you mean?
Yeah.
It's not none of that.
Word.
So I appreciate this vertical that I'm experiencing with death as an adult.
Yeah.
Back to back to back.
Yeah.
Cousin 47, checked out. My other cousin, she just turned like 62, checked out. My grandmother, she just turned 86, checked out.
Yeah.
And this is in like a 3-month span of time. So, but also having conversations with these people before they checked out.
Yeah.
Feeling like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, well, I know that what we're facing right now is grim.
Yeah.
It's because we don't know what happens.
Right.
That's the only.
Right.
That's the other thing I got out from it is because we don't know what happens. That's what makes it such a roller coaster of emotions.
Yep.
What happens? We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's funny you said that because I had a conversation with my mom. She was down in Charlotte, right? So I had gone down to Charlotte to see her and have a conversation with her. She wanted to have conversations with all of her people, like one-on-ones, right? So I go down to have a conversation with her, and I got some of it recorded, and it was so rewarding. It is still so rewarding for me that we had the conversation and that we had the conversation that we had. Yeah. Like, we had a conversation about gratitude. And, you know, it's funny. At the time, so I know I'm going to have this conversation, and I also know I don't know what exactly I want to say. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I chat GPT. Yeah. This is what's happening. I'm about to go down, This is my, like, what are the things that I should have in mind for this type of conversation? And it gave me some things. And I was like, okay, dope. Because it's considerate of both parties. Yeah. You know what I mean? Facts. And so I got to have this conversation where we were connecting and not just dialoguing or exchange or saying our pieces. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But it was like an additional nugget, so to speak, of it, where it's like, okay, we got to have a moment of connection at this time. Especially because it's your mom. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yep. And not a lot of people have a chance to connect with the person that is their parent. Yeah. You know what I mean? Word. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Can I ask you one more question? Sure. What is your relationship with ambition? Changed. My relationship with ambition has changed so much because it's not toxic. I'm not doing it to savior complex. I gotta be the one in my family to get my family. Nigga, that shit has sailed. My mom is retired. My brothers are
in their respective places in life.
Yeah.
A lot of my family is on a turn of doing well and doing better, being up, upwardly mobile, so to speak.
Yeah.
So my idea of ambition was always fueled by being the one in my family that helped my family.
Right.
And now it's like, dog, even as being a dad, my ambition being a dad was, well, I'm going to sacrifice this portion of their childhood so that I can work tirelessly to bring something into their field that I never had.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, dog, they need a present dad.
Yeah.
That was something you didn't have, and that ain't cost. That's not ambitious.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So being a present dad, I already leveled up the playing field for my sons, for my daughter, because now they have a present dad, active dad, exchange connected dad in the house.
Yep.
Same with my wife.
Yeah.
My ambition almost cost me my marriage because I felt like by any means necessary, there was no balance, there was no boundaries, there was no framework in how to do ambition.
Yeah.
How do you do ambition? Well, they say on TV that in order to be ambitious, you got to work 90 hours a day. Yeah. You can't sleep. You only can eat on Thursdays after 2, but before 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
So my ambition has been replaced with fulfillment. It just has been.
Yeah.
Because am I taking care of myself in this process?
Yeah.
Am I gonna get all the way to the goal line? My time is my time, and I got all the money in the bank. But now my health is fucked up.
Right.
My legs are falling off.
Yeah.
I got diabetes type 10.
Right.
And there's nothing I can do to reverse it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, to your point you had mentioned earlier, it's so good that now it's managing my mindset with nothing. I don't have to sacrifice my life for it to be good.
Yeah.
It can just be good because it's good.
Yeah.
There's no other shoe that's going to drop in order for the good to be good. Like, I don't have to validate the good by having some negative experience.
Yeah.
I can just be good.
Yeah.
And taking a back seat or having my level of ambition take a back seat to being fulfilled has tremendously changed my patience, my understanding, my level of empathy. Like, it changed a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because now my ambition isn't fueled by any means necessary.
Right.
It's fueled by, was that a good exchange?
Right.
Was I integral in that exchange? Was I intentional in that exchange? Did I mean to say what I said? Did I mean to do what I did? Was there value that I presented in that?
Right.
And if it's not that, then why am I even doing it?
Right.
If it's not value first, why am I even doing it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to get something out of the deal.
Right.
Regardless if I'm giving value or not.
Yeah.
I'm going to get.
Yep.
That's a crazy notion to think.
Yep.
So having fulfillment to replace the ambition, it just makes it a lot more cleaner. I can sleep better.
Yeah.
I have a lot more energy. I kid you not, I just don't understand how. I do it sometimes. I looked at my sleep tracker.
Yeah.
Before the last 2 weeks, for the last 3 months, I've been averaging 3 hours and 25 minutes of sleep.
Say word.
Bro. But I'm still up and doing and moving and it's not at jeopardy of my health. Like, do I need to get more sleep? I do, because my diet doesn't really support a 4-hour restful sleep.
Yeah.
However, I get a lot of 7s in there. I take naps.
Yeah, okay.
Conscious of that shit.
Yeah.
So again, my relationship with ambition has changed because it's no longer about pushing. It's more like, is there purpose in the push? There's no purpose in the push, so why are we pushing?
Yeah.
Is there fulfillment on the other end of this push?
Yeah.
It's not, then why are we pushing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what about you?
Yeah, definitely. I I used to have, and some of it I chalk up to just the age I was at the time. Like, when I'm in my 20s, I have a certain oomph.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That just comes, and a certain ignorance. Like, there's something really dope about being young enough to be stupid, you know?
Facts.
And be wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like now, I appreciate ambition as a tool, but not as an engine. You know what I mean? But like, fulfillment becomes the engine, or even just self-actualization.
Yeah.
Like, am I being me for some outside other reason?
Yeah.
That's what ambition is. Like, I'll be me once I have the trophy. And I can be me fully. You know what I mean? Or once I have the money, or once I, you know what I mean? Like, those outside things. But now it's like, fulfillment and appreciating the present moment. Yeah. Because like the other thing is ambition. The way I carried ambition, it constantly had me like 10 years out. Yeah. But not present in 10 years. Yeah. Just setting the time out there. So it's like
10 years I'm about to be.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, hang on a second. What are you doing right now?
Yeah. Like, to even bring that.
Right?
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm far more interested in and prioritizing the present. And like, what am I doing for the sake of my like comprehensive fulfillment? Yeah. Like just trying to do a podcast. But like
disrespectful.
Word.
Fuck your podcast, man. I don't give a damn. Yeah.
But like, now it's just like, okay, this I only have right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And right now can be amazing. Right now can be amazing, and it can be a seed for more amazing.
100%.
So like, that's where it is now. Like, that, the perfect words, fulfillment. Yeah. It's like fulfillment can be now and later.
It can.
Ambition can. It don't operate in the same way. Nah. Like, you have this vision of a future life. Yeah. So it's like, and then like, to your point, it's like you become I have taken on the idea that I have to pay for my reward with suffering. Yeah. And I don't. No. Like, now I realize I do have to pay for reward. Yeah. I don't just get it just cause I'm here. True. That's not sustainable.
No. You but get like a trophy too, man. Yeah. Thank you for showing up, dude.
You know what I mean? But it's not necessarily from suffering. Yeah. It's not coming from struggle. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I can have ease and flow and alignment and harmony and reward.
Yeah, 100%.
And the work is in staying in the pocket of ease and flow and alignment and harmony. Yeah. So that I can be rewarded with what those things bring.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So yeah, like, that's and it's like, again, I think this is a thing that men are conditioned, males are conditioned to have a position on ambition. Yeah. And embody ambition. Yeah. Because that's, when you're young and energetic and strong and stupid, you can push. Yeah. It's like, you think pushing is the MO. It's like, nah. Yeah. There's a time for push. Yeah. And there's a time for flow. Yeah. And I just think for me, in my case, and, you know, to your point, from you in your case, we're in a time of ease and flow. Yeah. Knowing that we have strength and stamina and power and resolve and all these things that we would apply to ambition before. Yeah. We can apply them all to ease and flow and alignment and harmony now.
It's a fact.
You know what I mean? It's a fact. So yeah, I think that's where I'm at today.
Yeah. It goes to your, like you were saying, with your daily mantra. Yeah. The habits and processes can promote ease. Yep. I'm building my life so that I don't have to do everything now. Yeah. When I was ambitious, when ambition was the lead, right, everything had to be done now. Yeah. Nah, what you mean tomorrow? Ain't no tomorrow.
Right.
I gotta do the thing with the thing and then the other thing, and I gotta put the other thing inside the thing, because when the thing happens and the thing don't happen, when the thing be the thing, because I be thinking, bruh, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's way too much. So it's like, how can I be smart about how I work?
Yeah.
Okay, Mondays, no social media.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Yeah.
Cool. It's not my thing, but it's somebody that I know that's his thing. Every Monday, without fail, I do not look at social media. I don't touch social media, because Friday, Saturday, I'm planning for all of these things to drop without me having to go up there and hear all that noise. I'm like, ooh, cool. So you just taking your whole day back.
Yeah.
Fire. What version of that can I adopt in how I do what I do?
Yeah.
Might not be Monday. It might be Wednesday.
Yeah.
It might not be no day period.
Word.
It might just be a portion of the day that gives me that space where I'm not doing what you know what I mean? So there's a big part of reorganizing how I put my energy into things that is going to ease. Yeah. It's just, if I'm here, like for me, Mondays is my shoot days, my edit days. This is like the day that I get in the muck and start doing stuff. Yeah. Right. I'm not doing that on Tuesday. Right. Because I did it on Monday. Right. I'm not looking at it on Wednesday. Yeah. Not the day, but maybe Wednesday night. I'm doing that for Wednesday night. Now it's just creating more spaces where I can connect with my kids on their level. Yeah. I connect with my wife on her level. Yep. Where I connect with myself on my level. Yep. And these check-ins help me keep everything checked and balanced. Yeah. It's all new. It's not 100%. Right. I just dropped the ball the other day. Yeah, babe, I'm going to be better with telling you beforehand, blah, blah, blah. If something get... And then I had to fall on my sword. Like, I didn't do that. Right. However, it's top of mind enough where the occurrences are way less. Yeah. And instead of looking at it from one broad stroke, like it's not that or it is that. Right. It's like, well, it's been 3 months since that thing happened. Yeah. And before, it would happen way more frequently.
3 times a week. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And now I'm noticing the distance between, and thankful for this book, The Gap in the Gain. And he was saying, when you're in the gain thinking, you're not thinking about what you don't have and what you didn't do. You're mirroring what you were, what your habits and things were, versus what they are. Okay. Because if I didn't work out every day at one point, and then I started working out every day at one point, even if I stopped, guess what? I worked out way more in this time frame than I worked out in that time frame. Yeah. And that gives you the momentum to be like, all right, well, maybe I took 2 days or 3 days off, but in this current version of me, I've been doing this thing way more consistent than I've ever done. And it's power. It's like wind beneath your fucking wings and shit. You know what I'm saying? I have one last question for you. Copy. Would your younger self be proud of the man that he became? Little 8-year-old, 9-year-old Tayshawn Glover, would he be proud of the man he grew up to?
Man he became.
Yeah.
In some places, in some areas, In some areas, he would be impressed. He would be in awe. He would be inspired. In some areas, he would be heartbroken. You know what I mean? In some areas, he would be, disappointed. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I had a certain vision at the time. Yeah. And the vision at the time was it. Yeah. Anything else outside of this is wrong.
Oh, we don't do comic books no more? What's
you know what I mean? Word. So there will be areas where an 8-year-old me would look at me and be like, how did you do it? Yeah. Like, because it definitely ain't mom, and it definitely ain't dad. It definitely ain't my brothers and sisters. Yeah. Like, where did this even come from? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that, and it's such a inverted perspective. You know what I mean? So 44-year-old me knows all of the nuances and layers to even the things that would disappoint or break 8-year-old me's heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He would just see the result.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think ultimately 8-year-old me would be inspired and in awe and hopefully informed that it ain't all rosy. That Tayshaun will have his fair share of scars and bumps and bruises and have created damage in the world as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But ultimately it'd be like, all right, well, nobody gets out innocent either. Nobody gets out alive and nobody gets out innocent.
Your hands is dirty anyway. Yeah, facts.
Yeah. I like that question.
I figured it's something that, because it hit me.
Yeah. Tell me.
It hit me a few weeks ago, right before I really started kicking up with this. I was sitting there like thinking about my life, you know. Death makes you reflect.
Yep.
And I was reflecting on the younger me that I'm watching and all these pictures my grandmother got in the crib.
Yeah.
Mad pictures. You would have thought I was West Indian, boy. Wow. And I'm looking like, yo, he grew up to be me.
Yeah.
Like
that
he
guy
grew up to be me. This little kid that had all of this zeal for life.
Yeah.
Even hearing stories my grandfather tells me, he's like, man, when you was born, you was just a happy kid.
Yeah.
Like you was just always a pleasure to be around. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
So you kind of really don't change per se.
Hopefully.
Yeah. You just, and I'm saying for myself, like, if you really didn't change, you matured in certain areas, you didn't mature, you plateaued in certain areas, but for the most part, like he grew up to be you.
Where you kept your core,
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, it was so unexpected. Just what I do.
Yeah.
He would be flabbergasted.
Right.
Like, wait a minute.
Right.
We do what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No, we don't. You lying. Show me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I asked that question especially because I felt so much power in the thought of like, yo, we survived.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like through all of the whatever from then till now, we made it through that.
Yep.
So, you know, there's a certain level of appreciation I feel like that question just kind of imparts intrinsically. So, I don't have any more bullets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we've been at it for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for pulling up to the pod. This is the Grown Man Shift podcast. That is Mr. Tayshaun Glover.
Peace.
I'm Mr. Baith Nuruddin. If there's anything you want to hear discussed, topics that you want to send in, send them to the email grownmanshitpodcast@gmail.com. Of course, like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell a man to tell a man. And you women, you can chime in too. I got something special coming for y'all. But yeah, man, Grown Man Shift. We out. Peace.